about 1 month in with this Aqua Betta trio tank, and there's a few things that aren't quite right with it. Some of it might be a bit my fault. The main issue is that although it's a Betta tank, the flow just isn't enough. I was worried that it probably wouldn't be. I wanted to have the sand a bit deeper, but just in the hopes of getting a bit more circulation, I cleared the vents, which I'll show you in a minute. Basically I've had to go buy another pump just to get the tank to start clearing up. We've got 1 Betta fish in there. The tank is fully cycled because I had media from another tank. I've now got some rock wool in there just to try and catch the fine particles, but the problem is circulation. With it being such a small compartment, if you was to put more circulation than what they provide you with through the first compartment, you'd have a Betta fish blowing in circles, not swimming in circles. But then obviously as it goes through each compartment, even though it's the same amount of water that's flowing through it, it's not under as much pressure per se. It's sort of like spread out a bit more gentle, which is like what a Betta wants. But if you're going to have it set up as a tank with a substrate and everything else, any uneaten food and bits and pieces, I'm not going to get through to that subsection whatsoever. So having one of these very coarse pads to catch these bits is absolutely pointless, because they are not going to be floating up in your water column. So we need to think of a way to try and combat it. I bought 5 cherry shrimp and put them in. Jack the Betta fish is very intrigued and wants to kill them. Originally I put them in this compartment because the issue that you've got, which I'll show you now, hopefully I'll show you, I can't see the camera properly. When you drop some food in, like there, it was sometimes floating, he's eating it, that's a first for him. The food would end up flying through to the next compartment. Obviously if you've not got a fish in there, that food isn't getting eaten, so I decided to get some cherry shrimp because they take care of whatever got through. Say like if you put 5 pellets in, 2 would probably get through, which in general is fine because you would have a Betta in each fish compartment, wouldn't you? So you'd start feeding here and keep an eye on both of them. Cherry shrimp did an absolutely fantastic job of tidying up that, which was good. And then they swam through the little vent holes for the circulation, so they got into his tank within 25 minutes, got chased all around the tank. This is my first time keeping shrimp, I've never kept them before. Never really bothered with them, and I wish I had bought some sooner because they're proper cool. I enjoy watching them. So what I've done, I've bought a 200 litre per hour pump, just a small one. And I put it in the second compartment, because if it's in the first compartment, you just add it into that whirlwind effect, and it is bringing the detritus up into the water column, and it is slowly clearing. My little girl probably overfed the fish for about 3 days when she was feeding the fish for 3 days, because when I come back, Jack's stomach was like huge, so she was definitely overfeeding them, and that's what really addressed this problem, I think. So I gravel vac, cleaned it all up, but then moving forward from that point, all of these little fine particles in the water and bits, and some of it might be a bit bacteria related, it's absolutely everywhere and doing my head in. But then if you can't get this in the water column and circulating, And to get it to come up to the top here, because the weir is about this height on the tank, if you would, with one tiny cut out at the bottom, maybe from the thumb to the end of the tweezers at the bottom, which is pulling nothing really, and if something does get there, it usually gets stuck, so you end up having to clear it. So we've added an extra pump. It's been in for 24 hours now, and this is 10 times better. In fact, it was that bad that it made me not record a video, because it was like pretty embarrassing. I knew what the issue would be. I suspected that it could happen, but because of what it was like, it stopped me from sorting out each compartment and going and getting another 2 Bettas to continue with my plan. Because if I've not got it how I want it with 1 Betta in there, and if I'm feeding him, it's definitely not getting overfed, because I feed him by hand with the tweezers, and he is pretty fussy. I didn't expect him to eat that fluval bug bite a minute ago, because usually doesn't even pick it up in his mouth. He just looks at it and says, that's not for me, and he only likes frozen food basically. So it's good to see that you get one of those, because in general with my fish, I supplement the any dry foods like bug bites. Never bought these before. I've literally only bought these for the Betta fish, so I can't really voice my opinion on it. The only thing I do know is that when I've had Betta fish in a community tank, I've never seemed to have more than a year and a half out of them, which I know they don't live long. But so I had a little bit of a deep dive into them, and it's like, well, probably was feeding them a little bit on the wrong side. The only time they was getting what they should have been eating was when I was dropping frozen food in. So I decided that because it's solely going to be a Betta tank now with shrimp, I'll do my best to try cater for his dietary needs as good as possible. But with my other fish, I'll soak it in this garlic guard, which is made by Seachem. Meant to help with like parasites and stuff like that in the stomach. And then I've got this multivitamin, which maybe once or twice a week, meant to make the fish more colourful and stuff. I don't know whether it does. My fish are pretty colourful, so I can't really say, but as humans we're deficient in minerals and vitamins because our food is crap, so I suspect that the fish's food is, no offence, fluval bug bites, it's probably crap in it, let's face it. Everything needs supplementation these days, so I'll pull the camera and I'll show you what my plan is and probably make a good video of it. So this is Jack's compartment. As you can see, there's quite a bit of bits floating around. Now this was way worse, but you wouldn't see them passing from one chamber to another. So let's say hello to him. Where is he? There he is. Let's say hello, mate. Whenever you put the camera there, usually flares up at it. You must be able to see himself in the lens there. So that's Jack's compartment. Now originally I had the sand high and it was covering those little grills there, but I decided to spread the sand out, and originally I wasn't really putting anything in these. I've just got a lot of plants floating around, not really specifically done out with that, it was just for the shrimp. And I've got the frog bit there. Frog bit? Is it called frog bit? I don't know what it's called. Poppus hanging out there. So we've got the heater, so underneath this I've got, if you can see it, a bag of Seachem, completely lost my mind. Anyway, releases it and strips the tannins out of the water basically. You got your heater. Underneath this pad here I've got a floss wool. So temporary fix is obviously just I've got that sat there. So what we're going to do, because this is acrylic, I'm going to drill through here, then send the pipe fully left to right with drilled holes in, pushing down, just so that you can obviously not jet the fish but start stirring the water up a bit, because all these bits that are floating around, now that they're there, will not get brought up into the water column at all if I turn this pipe off. So as it stands, we have doubled, or probably just more than doubled. So this reckons it's 200 litres per hour, this pump that I bought from Superfish. And the original pump, obviously the Aqua one pump, I've googled it and it says approximately 155 litres an hour. So we've just more than doubled what's going through the sump, and I can say that just in 24 hours alone this is so much cleaner. You know, like the water itself wasn't like dirty, but the dissolved particles, which I do think the shrimp have added to it, because they're literally destroying the living life out of the wood. So these particles could well be the shrimp causing trouble, I don't know. But at the same time, it is definitely wasn't going to do it alone with that one jet there. I've got it pointing up to oxygenate the water a little bit for the shrimp, and I really have the assumption that if it wasn't oxygenated enough, the Betta fish can use his labyrinth gland and breathe up the top. But the idea is to keep these fish healthy. I do want to breed with him, and made it easy where I can just get my hand in and grab him out as I want him without destroying his tank. But it's just a nice little home for him to live in, and the plan is to film these two, but until I'm happy with the filtration, I'm definitely not going to be adding more fish, which is quite annoying because I saw one that I wanted today. But stay tuned for the next video. I'll literally be destroying any warranty that I've got with this tank. So thanks for watching, I'll see you on the next one.